Hello, my fellow believers. I feel like sometimes that I am so grounded in the Word and my Christian beliefs, and I feel like I'm mature, that I've checked off these certain boxes in my head that, this is where I'm at. And then every now and then I get a reality check that tells me I'm not as far as I quite think I am in my walk. And so this happened to me recently when I was at church. So when I go to church, I have developed this routine. I think human nature makes us creatures of habit. So I like to sit in a certain row, in a certain aisle, on a certain side. I don't know where my mind this came from, but this is what I do. So I go to sit in my certain seat, pretty close to the front. And what I do is I leave my house. I get to church by half an hour early to make sure I secure my seat. I have done what dogs do and cats, mark my territory. This is where I'm going to sit. And I need 3 seats for myself, my husband, and my son. So I get those seats all set. So, and then I notice around me that most of the people that I'm in church with at that particular service do the same thing. They sit in the same seats most of the time. So this one particular Sunday, I get to church early. I get there even before the first service is completed, so that when the people are coming out of the first service, I'm headed in. It's kind of like that thing, how when you're at the train station or the bus station, you make sure you're the first at the door, at the elevator, so that as soon as people come out, you've got a good space getting in there. So that's what I do. I go in there. And right as I get to my seat, another lady gets to my seat at one of my seats at the same time. So she sits in one of my seats, I get to one of my seats, and she looks at me and she goes, "This seat's taken." And I'm like, "What?" We both just got here at the same, people just came out, we both just got here at the same time. "How's the seat taken?" "It's taken, someone else is going to be sitting there." I said, "No, I'm sitting here. I just got here, you just got here. What are you talking about?" I mean, it didn't make any sense. So she looks at me and I look at her, and we get to that point, and when you get to this point and you're in a conflict where you are making a decision, okay, and she gives me this look like she's about to reach in her pocketbook, take out her Vaseline and take off her earrings. I give her that look like, I will beat you down. Now, of course, neither one of us would act that way, but that's the looks that was conveyed between us. And so she looks at me. She lets out this puff of air, and then she walks off. And she walks to the seat right behind me and sits there. Mind you, while we're having our little conflict, most of the seats are still empty around us. So I sit there, and for 1 nanosecond, I am basking in my victory. And then it hits me, that shame and disgust with myself, that I actually sat there. I came to church and actually fought over a chair, a seat. And I'm like utterly disgusted with myself. And so I say to God, "God, forgive me." I turn around and I say to her, I said, because I always try to make amends when I can make amends for a situation that I find myself in. I turned around and I said, "Would you like to sit this? If you really want these seats, you can have it. I'll sit." And then she turns her nose up at me and goes, "No, I'll sit here." And I'm like, "Okay, fine." I turn around. I'm still feeling ridiculous, but I've tried. Well, I mean, what can I do? And it just puts me in mind of the story of in Luke 7:36, of the story of Jesus being anointed by the sinful woman, where I'm constantly praising God and worshiping Him. And I constantly want to bask in the Spirit and put myself in that place to be connected to Him. And although the fact that I am a sinful person, that I'm born into sin, and I have a sinful nature, but yet and still, I'm so grateful that I serve a God who forgives me for not only the little things that I do wrong, but the big things and all the things in between. I'm just so grateful. And so, yeah, that's my confession for today. I want to say to all my fellow believers, happy Resurrection Day coming up soon, and be blessed.